Hi everyone, my name is Saif. You're watching Rayon Tech TV, and today in this session we'll be discussing upon pie chart component. Before understanding each and every keyword and required data types for the pie chart component, we need to understand what is pie chart and how it is helpful for us as a visualization component. So as you can see, we are having a pie chart dropped in a testing interface, and this is something which you will get when you will search pie and drag and drop the pie chart like this here. So you'll get a default pie chart with respect to some values which are there in the pie chart expression code there. So we'll be creating the pie chart in our example with real data coming from a data source. That will help us to understand how pie chart works with real-time data coming from various sources. So as of now, I'll be taking up an expression rule to generate the data for the pie chart field, which will be backed by probably a record type or a table directly. So let's understand each and every keyword and respective values for the pie chart component through a actual example. So as you can see in the previous series, we have seen bar chart and how we can populate the bar chart with real-time data. Now let's continue on the pie chart. So I need an expression rule so that I can configure my data with respect to, as you can see in the chart series here, the number of chart series you have is directly equal and proportional to the values that you are seeing with respect to the share of slices. So if you see the chart series 3, it is having half of the share because it is dependent upon what data you have put in. So we'll be creating the data for our own pie chart with respect to that. So let's create an expression rule. Fetch fetch data, fetch pie chart data. Description will be doing it later. Using the query editor, it will help us to, save our time. So we are having VUF customer. So as you can see in the VUF customers, we are having various kind of fields, and we don't need every field. We just need a kind of a aggregated value, which will help us to understand like these are the labels and these are the values. So let's get a logic for this. So instead of getting everything, uh, let's first aggregate the data. We'll group the data for tier, and the alias will be tier, and that definitely will be dropping up another column as the count of tier. So let's test the query. Sorry, it has to not contain white spaces. So for tier 1, we are having total 7 entries for VUF customers. For tier 2, we are having 8 entries, and for tier 3, we are having 9 entries. So we can transform this data later into the local variables. Right now, what we need as a pie chart component, we are nearly there. So let's generate the query and test it. So we're getting a map of tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Let's click on save changes. This is what we need. We'll be using this inside our local variable. So we'll be having local bank data as rule bank, UP fetch data, pie chart data. Right now, my goal is to explain you pie chart. So I am not focusing too much about data cleansing, data best practices, or object creation best practices. Rather, we have to focus on pie chart creation. So yeah, let's continue. So as you see that we have aligned our local variable for the rule call, we can see that if we test the interface, we are having data in such form. If we explore this, we are having a list of map which is three items. First is tier and then it is tier count. Correct? If you want to make it more uh, like more kind of user exclusive, so instead of 1 2 3, we can have number 1 2 or 3. So we can do it directly in the local variables. So let's start with pie chart. So first one says that label of the pie chart that we are designing. So rayon pie chart. Then we are having instructions. Instructions is nothing but text which will help us to gain additional information about the pie chart. So as you can see, the label got it a heading. And if we hover on the screen, we can see that it is a pie chart component. Right now I'm in expression mode. Instructions. This this is an instruction field. So this will give you a kind of grayed out information below heading. Then we are having label position. It is kind of a standard property for every component. So if you can do above, adjacent, collapsed kind of things. So if you see here where it is label position, here it is adjacent, justified, collapsed, etc. So right now it is already above, which is by default. And if you want, you can do it justified or collapsed. So if I do collapsed, sorry, my bad. Label position should be there. Label positions collapsed. So if I do collapse, so my label will be hidden, just like this. So either if I want my label to be shown, so I will be doing above. Next, let's directly like put our data here. So there is a main property called series. Series are nothing but it is just asking out what kind of data iteration you have to do. So in our standard example, which we have dropped our pie chart, you can see that it is the number of times there are A bank chart series is equal to the number of slices. And the data property which is holding the highest value is having the biggest slice as compared to smaller and smaller. So in our case, the data is having, we are having we are having tier and tier count. So tier will resemble our label and tier count will be the actual data that we have. So let's create the series now. So instead of writing it every time, because we are having a runtime data, so there might be future rows and the pie chart should be dynamic. This is our use case. So we should not hard code the data. This is just for a reference purpose that Appian has provided us. So instead of this, we will be using a bank for each loop. Items. So what is the items? Items is nothing but on which local variable or which data variable you have to iterate. So I have my local bank data. Local bank data. Next, expression. So what you have to do with the actual iteration of your data for every item in the loop. So I will do a bank chart series and label will be fv bank item dot fv bank item is like for every iteration of that loop what will be the item. So fv bank item dot tier and data will be fv bank item dot tier underscore count. So we are just pointing to the data that we have. So the moment we have pointed our data, we see that our pie chart is up and ready. So instead of only the fpbang item dot tier, we can concatenate our text values. So we can do concat any text values. So I am concatenating tier and a white space, then comma, and then tier value. So now you can see that tier 1, we are having these many values, tier 3 and tier 2. So can we see the values? Yes, tier count, if we refresh. So it is tier 1 is having 7 value share and tier 2 is having 8. a little bit bigger than them, and then the tier 3 is having the biggest slice. So this is a dynamic pie chart with respect to the data that we are having backed up by a data source coming from a table. So if you see this, it is nothing but querying of a record type, which we have utilized here in the local variable. So if you see this pie chart, which is coming as a standard drag and drop, which is coming from a design mode versus the pie chart that we have developed, it is coming with actual data and it is just from for a reference data so that we understand that how it is working. There are various fields which we can use beyond this. So let's explore that. So let me collapse the series and we can see there are other properties also. So there is show data labels. Show data labels, if I do true, so what will happen? It will like show the count. Right now it is not looking that great, so I'll be removing it. There is another property called show tooltip. If you make it as true, then tooltip will be visible. And you can write tooltip also. Testing tooltip. So if you see on the top left of the heading of your pie chart, that is the label, you'll see a tooltip. Correct? Similarly, there are other properties like show as percentage. So if I do show as percentage, so it will be percentage to total. So show as percentage. Uh, it will be percentage to total, hopefully. Yeah, it is a Boolean thing, right? So show as percentage. So it will be like percentage to total. 29% share of tier 1, 33.3% share of tier 2, and so on. So there is no major condition that in your series you will have a certain 3 or 4 slices. You can have more number of slices based upon what data you have configured. So this is a basic definition of a pie chart for Appian. And we can make it more advanced and we can make it more unique as per the color combinations that we can provide. So let me show you the color combinations also. So if we do allow image download, if you do it true, so user can click on download the image on the top right. You can see there. If I click on, so it is downloadable. So next, uh, one more good property that we can see here. There are some height and refresh variables that we can see, which we can utilize. The main thing is style. So if I show you style, you can also use custom colors, or you can use a custom color combination style, or you can use the standard combination. So if you see the style property here, we are having sorry, first is what type of chart you want to show. So if you want to show donut chart, so it will be a kind of a hollow chart, donut. So if I do donut, so it will be kind of a hollow, which is available below. But if I do, like, if I don't configure it, so by default it is a pie chart. And next we have color scheme. That's what I was telling you. Color scheme means you can choose standard color schemes like midnight ocean, moss berry parachute, etc. So if I choose moss, so it will be like darker scheme of colors with respect to the sea green color. And you can also put a custom color scheme. So custom color scheme is available here, where it is color scheme custom. Color scheme custom is also possible. Let me show you. A bank color scheme custom. Here we can put a list of colors so that we can, it should be a valid hex code basically. So if you put a combination of colors here, for example, hashtag FF0044, comma, hashtag FF4422, comma, okay. I think I'm guessing the wrong colors. We have to put hashtag also. So I'm putting like runtime keywords that's coming in my mind. And we have to put it as a list first thing. and hashtag FF828733 and again a hashtag. So kind of like a custom color scheme. If you are having a project requirement where you have to put color schemes which are custom to your application design, you can choose a custom color scheme. Right now, I don't have any option or a require. Right now, I don't need this requirement to put a custom color scheme. So, I'll be choosing berry or moss, whatever I want. We can choose from the standard custom colors, and that's how it is. So, if you see the color scheme, like we are having rainforest also, rainforest. So these are standard color combinations provided by Appian. Right now, if I want to utilize this pie chart component in my actual code, so let's see how we can change it in our home page. So we are having three components right now. So I would be adding one more column, and inside that, I'll be picking up this pie chart field and pasting my code here for the column layout. So if you see there, there would be, so Appian has provided a flexibility to, select the component and it will automatically navigate to where you want to go. So the first column layout is bar chart field. Second column layout is area chart. Third is gauge. And fourth one is where we have to paste the code. Obviously, now we are using local bank data, which is not present here. So it will throw us errors probably. So let's use this. First, let me copy this code, a bank local variables, local bank data, and directly paste the interface code. And next, we have to populate the rule so that the data is in the line for pie chart. Right now, it's not looking that great because we are having already other layouts in the line. So if I delete the gauge, which we have already understood in the initial videos, so let me comment this out. You'll see that the pie chart is having enough space to showcase. Uh, I know there needs to be, there is a requirement for this pie chart to be more configured with respect to data labels and everything so that it comes in the line. Uh, if I duplicate a column layout, if I if I drop a columns layout and keep two components and drop one of the pie chart here, you'll see that the pie chart is equally visible. And instead of this one, let me come back and paste my code for gauge field. Find the gauge field, which is commented. Oh, did we delete it or comment it? I think we commented. No, sorry, I think we deleted that. Yeah, we deleted. What I mean to say that, you know, there can be another component which can be a part of this one. So we'll be filling up this one with another interface component in the next series. Let me save the changes. And this testing interface was good for us to understand that how a standard pie chart is visible when we drop a standard pie chart and how the real-time data will populate the pie chart for us and how we can configure it in our own dashboard. So this is how it is. The a notable thing is there is a minor difference between a hollow donut chart and a pie chart. So if you can see on the top, it is pie chart, it is called pie chart, and this one is called donut chart. So please don't get confused in it. And that's how to use a pie chart in your application. If you really liked my series of like Appian and you understand the explanations, please drop a like and subscribe to my channel. This will really motivate me to continue to this series, and I'll be staying in touch. See you.